up, everybody? Welcome to Narco Cop MMA, and this is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 89 for UFC 89. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano. What is up, Timothy? Ready for this UFC 89 card? I mean, back-to-back UFC fight nights. We did well last week, really well. We hit a bunch of Lambos last week. How do you feel about this card?
Yeah, man. Last week was a banger. We got 6 last week. Hope we can continue the heater. This week is interesting, man. I think there's a couple of good fights that are, I'm interested to see. I just want to watch them and see what happens. I think there's a couple of good Twitter battles going on this week, so I'm interested to see what happens there. But definitely, I have a couple of fights where I kind of need to hash it out with you and figure out what's the best angle and where we could probably try to attack it. But I think the cards overall, it's not that bad of a card. I get to see one of our favorite fighters from the show, Amanda Ribas. She's one of my favorite. The lotion will be out in the Troiano household. Let's just say that. She's definitely, from a money standpoint and a hotness standpoint, I love Amanda Ribas.
Yeah, I mean, Ribas cashed me that huge plus 4,400 KO3. I'll never forget it. Last time out against Pinheiro, that was absolutely goated of her to come through and just push through and get that knockout in round 3. So that was a wonderful play there and a wonderful result. So I thank her. And this is a different matchup, obviously, against Rose, but 58 of you, 60 of you already in here. Thank you very, very much. Hit the like before we start here. Hopefully we ramp up. Damn, we went from 900 to 500 to 60. What's going on here? They don't like this fight night card. All right, let's start out here. First fight of the night. Oh, actually, no. I take it back. I gotta always shout out my chat, right, Tim? I forgot about that. Mushroom, what is up, my man? Thank you. One more sleep for sure. There will be blood. What's good, my man? Thank you for joining. Sparring with Reality, Luke. What is up, my man? Thank you for being here as well. Grateful dude. Great read on Bellator. I hope you keep it rolling. Thank you, man. Bellator was unbelievable today. Over 6 units won. Over 4K won on Bellator. Let's freaking go. Let's go, Papa Chuck. Great to see everyone. Best of luck. Let's make some fat-ass tickets tomorrow. Yes, sir. Hit the like and subscribe, like he said. DA07, I don't know the boys. Can't wait for the breakdown. Each fight of this banger of a card. I mean, this is not a terrible card. Joshua Frick, what is up, my man? Crush today. Can't wait for tomorrow. Yes, sir. St. Stephen, whisper bets for the win. Benino, let's go. Shafiq in the house as well. Azure Blue. Y'all smash the likes. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate you. MMA Hedge Funds, what is up? Remdog, what's up, my man? Mikey Gooden, let's go. Nick, horrendous card, but always money to be made. That's what I say. Really don't care how horrendous the card is, because I'm out here.
Yeah, last week's card was god-awful.
And we made a lot of money last week. Yep. One of my biggest weeks, especially in the live bets. 5-0 last week in live bets. It was spectacular. What is up? Not a problem. What's up, my friend? Let's make that dough. 86, we're pumping up here. Let's pump it up. Share, like, retweet, do whatever you got to do. Let's get them all in here. First fight of the night. It's in the heavyweight division. It is the 10-2 Muhammad Usman versus the 8-0 Mick Parkin. Tim, take it away.
Yeah, this is a kind of a piece of shit fight, honestly. I think both these guys are boring. They're boring to watch. Probably going to be a bunch of cage push, jabs from both sides. I don't think that these guys are I think the power edge is to Usman. I think it's going to be a bunch of cage push. Just going to be, a kind of a boring heavyweight fight. Both guys can have a tendency not to really push a mad pace and anything like that. So kind of see the fight going to decision and slop fest between two heavyweights that are clinching each other. So seems like a clear ends by split at plus 350. You want to take a shot on one of the fighters. Usman by split is 9-1. I don't think that's bad. So start off with a classic king of split decisions.
What? How much was the price?
Plus 350.
Ugh, that sucks. Yeah. Especially for you. Um, yeah, I mean, there wasn't much here really. There's one thing that stuck out, honestly, more than anything else on this one. And that's obviously Mohammed Usman decision, right? I mean, he's 4-1 in decisions. His only decision loss was a long time ago in the UFC, along with Ultimate Fighter. He's 4-0, just that alone in decisions. So the guy knows how to win decisions. I mean, he does what he needs to do. He mixes in the grappling. He knows how to turn it up at the right time. And yeah, I mean, you're giving me a decision line at plus 340 here, right? This line on this fight is what is it, like plus 120? Usman 125. So you're giving me $2 extra on something that he usually does. He doesn't really finish guys, right? And Mick Parkin does look somewhat durable. Yeah, man, plus 340. I just think is a line that's a little bit off here. I think they're giving too much credence to his KO, in my opinion. Usman KO is like 350, 370. I think that's wrong. I just think that's way, way too low. I think his KO should be probably 500-600. I don't really see him starching Mick Parkin like that. It's not like it's Zach Pauga, and we've seen Zach Pauga. It's like doesn't really have a good chin. So yeah, decision, man. Plus 340 on the Usman side. Moving on, fight 2. It is in the flyweight division. It is the Dana White's Contender Series 8-0 Igor Severino versus the 7-0 Dana White's Contender Series guy Andre Lima. And I will take this one. This is a battle of two young prospects that are both Dana White Contender Series guys. We really don't see this. I believe they fought even on the same card in Dana White's Contender Series. If I'm not mistaken, it might have been the same week. Let me see. I'm not sure. That's week 7, and the other guy is week what? 7 too? No, week 10. So they were 3 weeks away. But I mean, they were in the same season. They're both undefeated, both Brazilians. Kind of weird to match them up in their first UFC fight against each other, right? And when I tape this fight, I frankly think this is a very, very close fight. I mean, and the line doesn't indicate that. A lot of people are betting Lima. I know Lima has shot up to, lines come down a lot. Lima's down to 150, and there's some late steam on Igor Da Silva or Severino, and I think it's correct, man. Here's the thing. When I look at both guys, I do think Andre Lima is the cleaner mixed martial artist, right? When it comes to his striking, he's very clean. He's very, very good with his striking, has good kicks. He's powerful. All that is correct. But Igor, on the other side, throws a lot more volume. He has a grappling advantage where he uses it a lot in fights. He seems to be a dog. I mean, both these guys seem to be dogs, right? Very extremely tough guys. The one thing I don't like with Igor is obviously his defense is not very good. He gets hit a lot. He's a little wild. But you're telling me a guy with the grappling edge, who I've seen Lima get grappled a lot in his regional tape. And I've seen Igor Silva go to the grappling and do very well with it. So you're telling me the guy that has grappling and the guy that has definitely the volume edge from what I've seen on tape is plus 500 by decision? I mean, it's a no-brainer for me, man. I'm going to take Igor Da Silva by decision. I know all of his fights are inside the distance. I think he's never been to decision. But the thing I look at when I see these is how does he look in round 2 in some of these finishes? Because I couldn't find the round 3 armbar a long time ago. But how does he look in round 2 in the end of the round? How does he look? And to me, he looked pretty damn good. He wasn't tired. He put a beating on the guy till he finished him. So it's like, I don't think there's really a cardio edge here for Lima. I've seen Lima actually slow down, if anybody does. So, yeah, man, Silva decision plus 500 for me. I like, man. I really, really like that line. I think it's way off. What do you have here?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you just said. I'm not going to hash it all back again and repeat it and do the echo chamber, but um, I do think that the fight goes, and I do think that the Lima side is, it's interesting. Like I agree that he's kind of low volume, but I also think that kind of similar to the fight last week with who was it? The oh god, the Aussie, not the fight the first fight that went split. I can't think of the name of the guy right now. That we bet live. De Silva, I think it was De Silva that we had. Was it De Silva last week?
No, was it De Silva? No.
Oh god, I got to look at it. It's anyways, but there's a counter punching striker that fought last week, and it's kind of like low volume, and it was like he's the type
Chad
of fighter.
Hellinger?
No. It's Kulibao versus Silva.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I kind of think it's similar. I think it kind of reminds me a little bit of this, where I think Lima's like more of a countering kind of dude that's going to sit back and be more precise and pick his shots, where Igor is going to come in, just try to attack and attack. So I think it'll actually pump up the volume a little bit on Lima a little bit in this fight, where I think normally he would just chill out and take his shots and be more selective. I don't think he'll have the chance to do that in this fight. So I think his volume will be a little bit higher in this fight than normal. And that being said, I do think that the fight will be pretty close. So this is another end split by me. End split here is there's a few lines I really like. The one that you said was on my list as well. But so I had Igor points plus 500, but you've already said that, so I'll cancel that one out. But ends by split is 550. Igor by split is 14-1, and Limas by split is 9-1. I think that those are really good lines. I think this fight could hash out pretty close. And I think, maybe some better shots versus a little bit of better volume. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It could be very close. I think I agree with this line movement coming down. So I wish I would have click the button. He was 170, I think, at one point. I wish I would have clicked it. I thought he was going to go to 200 because all I saw was Lima love. And I'm like, okay, I maybe might get 200, but none. It got smashed and he's down to 120 now. Will Martin, what's up, my friend? Smash that like, everybody. It's at least you guys deserve for the show. Week in and week out, all the Lambos. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you for being in here, Will Martin. Moving on. Fight number 3. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 6-0 Montserrat Rendon versus the 8-1 Daria Zelyakova. I don't even know if I said that right. Zelyas Yankova. Tim, you can kick this one off, buddy.
So this fight is interesting. Obviously, Rendon is old and but she hasn't fought a ton, so she's inexperienced old. It's the worst of both worlds. She seems really god awful on the feet, slow, and just she's stuck in mud when she's fighting standing. She doesn't really try to stand very often. She tries to get you down to the ground and just grapple. So I mean, I think that in this fight with Daria, I mean, she's had some really bad fights bad looks in fights where she's gotten taken down and not been able to get up and just lost, got put away in one of them, and then got up in the second one and in the second round, I think, and finished the girl. But I mean, really laying a bunch of juice on this chick and seeing her get taken down easily would be a major, major red flag. I don't think that she's I don't think it's possible. I mean, I think it's possible that she's improving on her takedown defense where she's at and where she's training. And just in general, with her age, you can assume that she's hopefully making some improvements in those areas, but she really does need to make improvements in those areas, in my opinion. So I think that maybe against a better grappler, not this fight, maybe against a younger, better grappler that can put it on her, I might take some shots against her. That being said, I think that this is just an absolute massacre on the feet. And if if Rendon can't get her down, I feel like she's going to get pieced up and eventually finished in this fight. So Daria in round 2 and 3 is 950 and 1200. KO2 is 1200. KO3 is plus 1600. I think that you could take it, if you want to go safe, you play just the 2-3, and maybe she club and subs her, maybe she wraps something up while she's getting a shitty takedown or something like that. But I kind of lean that it'll be the KO and that she pieces her up for a while and then just attritional damage and just finishes her. I think Rendon is really tough, but I think it could be like a mercy stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really I love here, to be honest. I do think fight probably goes to decision. When I tape this fight, it's like both girls obviously have flaws, right? Pretty significant flaws. This Daria chick, when she gets taken down off her back, she doesn't look good. She doesn't do the right things. But those were also like years ago, the Melissa Dixon fight. She rocked Dixon pretty bad in round 1. And then eventually Dixon got her down, got her back, and finished her, right? But in these other fights, like, she's getting taken down as well. She doesn't look great off her back. Somehow she, reverses these girls who are not very good. But like, I also see Rendon. The problem with Rendon is, first of all, her wrestling is not very good at all. Like, it's very, very bad, her wrestling. And then her jiu-jitsu game is really, it's not very good at itself. So, like, even if she gets takedowns, like, is she going to actually do work there? Like, is she going to hold her? Is she going to... Now, the one thing I will say is, like, I guess Rendon's live for a sub, man. I can't really find some great props here, but her sub is like 1,800, right? It's 18-1. And she has gotta, like, have a chance. If she gets this down to the ground, she's got to have an opportunity to possibly get a sub, right? At 18-1 versus a girl that doesn't look great off her back. But, man, on the feet, man, Rendon just looks stuck in mud, man. She's very, very slow. Punches come off very slow. Overhands, like, very sloppy. And I'm not saying Daria's like the best striker, but she's way better than her. That's for sure. And Rendon's striking is, like, not good at all, man. She's got, like, stuck in mud type of, like, plodding feet. She's not the bigger girl, actually. If you look at face-offs, the Russian girl is actually bigger in this fight. So I'm just gonna give out the sub. It's 18-1. How bad could it be? Like, if Rendon wins this fight, in my opinion, this fight needs to hit the ground, right? She has to get takedowns here, in my opinion. So, with the takedowns can come maybe a sub attempt. Even if you get one sub attempt or two, 18-1 is going to pay off, right? So, I'm on the Daria.
Yeah, the rounds for her are absurd. Like 40-1, 50-1, and 65-1 on 1, 2, and 3 on the sub.
Why not take it?
Yeah, 18-1 is big. 18-1 is big, but I'm saying, like, if you match
18-1 is big because, listen, when I see Rendon, how she wins her fights, it's by takedowns.
She has to grapple. There's no question about it.
And her other fights, takedowns.
Daria has shown to be just not good off of her back. So, I don't even think she has to have good jiu-jitsu. So I agree. It's not a bad look.
But, I do think Daria wins. I do think Daria is more athletic. She's quicker. She looks in great shape. She's over there at MMA Factory. Not the best gym, but it's not a bad gym either. So most likely she wins by decision, to be honest, because I think Rendon is super tough. But that's not a Lambo. So, 18-1 Daria. It's not bad to take it. 18-1 Rendon sub. It's not bad to take a shot there. Moving on. Fight number 4. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 9-1 Stephen Nguyen versus the 13-5-1 Jarno Aarons. And I will take this one. It's split. I put this in the Discord. Guys, you might want to go play this before it fucking gets wrecked, because it's probably going to get wrecked after I give this out. And I gave it out in my Discord. But split decision here is plus 700. Like, this is striker versus striker, in my opinion. We've seen over and over. Jarno Aarons fights close. He's just a guy that fights close. If he doesn't get a finish, fights go to decision. He's fighting close. Stephen Wynn, on the other hand, he's been a decision twice against very, very bad fighters, to be honest, especially this Theo guy. He dropped the round to the Theo guy. It's kind of embarrassing. So it's like Stephen Wynn. Also, what I was kind of a little surprised, Jarno Aaron's the bigger guy, a little bit bigger at faceoffs as well. Yeah, I mean, this is what I said. It's like split is plus 700, right? Fight ends split. But Stephen Wynn to win by split is 600. Now, make it make sense, DraftKings. Make it make sense. The fight can't end in split at plus 700. And then the one guy alone is to win by split at 600. It's wrong and it's way off. So I would play that. I think this is a close fight, honestly. I have a pre-flop bet on Aaron's at plus 185 or 180. Yeah, I just think it's close. Maybe Wynn has a little bit more volume, but I think Aaron's has the bigger shots, to be honest. I think he has more power. So we'll see. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, you and I have been talking about this one for a little bit. I texted you about this as well. Like, just ends by split is 700, plus 700. Ends by unanimous is plus 350 on a fight that the fight goes to decision line is minus 130. So, like, they've made mistakes. Like, it's all I can say. Like, both of those lines you can basically play for free on no. Like, a fight doesn't go to decision at plus 100, and then you're at least making a quarter unit if it goes to decision, and you could make 5.25 or 5.75 units if you hit the split. So it's like they've made a mistake clearly, and the plus 350 is a line that should be like plus 170, like it should be like plus 170 to plus 2, like at most 200. Like there's no way in the world it should be 3.5 to 1. So what I did is I played both, and I'm hoping that the fight goes, and I'll either cash a plus 250 ticket or a plus 600 ticket. And that to me is a really good way to go on this fight. And I do think that the fight goes. So I'm hoping that it does exactly that. I'm hoping nobody gets bonked or meme subbed here.
Yeah. I mean, I want to point out, like, this is like Ozzy's like, okay, Wynn lands 8 strikes a minute. Aaron lands 8 strikes a round. 8 strikes a minute. Yeah, he has the volume edge, no doubt. Wynn has the volume edge here. But these stats are so fucking skewed when you have AJ Cunningham in front of you, who's an absolute punching bag. And then you have that other Theo guy that he fought, who absolutely should not even be fighting MMA. He's a terrible fighter. These stats are going to be skewed, man. Look at the competition. How do you compare stat numbers like that when you're fighting AJ Cunningham, as opposed to, a guy like, William Gomes, who's running around, grappling, Sung-Woo Choi. I mean, it's like, I don't think you can't compare those stats. Like, they're not accurate. Is he going to have more volume? 100%. Stephen Wynn has more volume, but that's a jaded stat right there. I don't think you should. Don't pay attention to stuff like that. That's way off.
Even Peter Yan's takedown defense stat after he fought Merab is like, no, there's no way this is accurate. He just got taken 50 times.
Stats are fine. If you're a stat guy, it's fine, but you have to put context.
You absolutely have to look at it, because if there's one fight that could completely skew.
Dude, Cunningham was an absolute. He landed 103 strikes in 2 rounds. He's an absolute punching bag, Cunningham. Everybody lands like that against the guy. So it's like, it's going to skew stats. And then, the Theo guy was also fucking horrible. I mean, don't forget, this guy got outstruck by, what's his name? What's the tall guy in the first, Elon Cruz. Elon Cruz outstruck him. Not to say Elon Cruz is terrible, but he outstruck him. All right, let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 13-2 Miles Johns versus the 19-9 Cody Gibson. This one's yours, Tim.
So, I mean, this fight, obviously, I think that there's the narrative on Johns is pretty consistently that he gasses in his fights and you can get him out late in fights and da 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 da. And I feel like I don't feel like it's incorrect, but I do feel like we gotta, like we just talked about, I think we gotta put a little context to this. Miles Johns has, take a guess how many finishes in round one? 0. 0. Every one of his finishes are in round 2 or round 3. So, like, the guy can finish the fight. He's finished multiple fights. He can finish late. He's got multiple round 3 finishes. Can he gas himself? Absolutely, yes. The last fight against Argueta, his round 3, I thought looked one of the better ones that he's done, and it was clearly, obviously, helped and aided by some steroid use. And I don't think that that's like, if you look at him now, I really don't think that you can like put that aside that he might not still be on them or using them as well and be able to have a little bit of cheating going on in this fight and get some, so I get the Cody Gibson love. I understand it, but to me, it's like Cody Gibson was almost finished in his last fight versus an absolute pillow fist in I'm Brad Katona. My fists are made of pillows. I'm going to bring you into the Katona-verse. So to me, I felt like he almost got finished in that fight against Brad Katona. And to me, it's like this fight could easily be the same thing and just Johns having his way. It doesn't have to be early. So I'm going to go Johns round 2, round 3. But I do have a little whisper bet here. I do have a slight whisper bet. I do think that the sub for Johns is live in this fight, and it could be live late. He tends to wrestle a lot against guys if he needs to, and I feel like he'll tend to also wrestle against guys if he's kind of dead on the feet a little bit and he doesn't want to strike. He'll go for takedowns. He's a way better wrestler. Cody Gibson's takedown defense has been piss poor, and he also shows at the end of fights that he gives up really bad bad positions and gets subbed when he loses. So to me, I think round 2, round 3 for Johns, and then sub is plus 1,600. Sub 2 is 50 to 1. Sub 3 50 to 1. If you want to take small stabs at those, I don't hate it because you have one guy that's methodology of losing is by giving his neck up and getting taken down and being subbed late in fights after he's winning. And then you have Miles Johns, who every one of his finishes is in round 2 and 3. So I don't mind those bets.
Man, you got a hot take there. That was definitely a hot take. 303 live viewers. Thank you very much to each and every one of you. Man, I got my whisper bet on this one too. So, I mean, it's a good breakdown of the fight. I don't mind what you said. But there's a little other pieces that I want to add to this fight that I think you didn't really touch on that I think are very, very important. Cody Gibson, first of all, I don't think his takedown defense is piss poor, to be honest. I think it's good. This guy is a college wrestler, I believe. He has decent wrestling takedown defense. I don't think it's that bad. This guy's out-grappled fucking Aljamain Sterling back in the day. I mean, I can't think this guy's grappling is that bad, when it comes to wrestling. Do I think Johns is the better wrestler at this point in their career? Yeah, I mean, I do think maybe John, if there's somebody going to land takedowns, probably Johns. But the thing is, I don't think Johns is holding this guy down, man. I don't, Johns, he does land takedowns. And when you see, for as good, put it this way, for as good as a wrestler that, he probably is, he's only landed 3 takedowns the most in any fight, and that was his first fight on Dana White's Contender Series. After that, it's really not landed a lot of takedowns, So, if he goes for takedowns early here, Tim, against Cody Gibson, I think he's going to gas himself out. The one thing that I look at in this fight, I think is, for me, that it's important is, what is Cody Gibson's style like, right? What kind of style does this guy have? And honestly, it's pretty comparable to guys that have finished him. When I look at Castaneda, high volume guy that comes forward, guy that keeps pushing a crazy pace. You know, he's got good hands. Obviously, he has better hands, I think, than Cody Gibson. But Cody Gibson is a guy that does that. He presses forward. He throws volume. He's going to keep it on you. You know, for as many, you know, finishes that Miles Johns has late, you know, Cody Gibson has late finishes as well, you know. And the one context that I wanted to add to this that you kind of didn't mention is Miles Johns is taking this on 2 weeks' notice. This is a short notice fight for him. You know, looking at his last fight, his cardio looked okay. It wasn't that bad, but Argueta really doesn't offer anything outside of wrestling. There's no hands from the guy. He's not throwing to the body. He's not kneeing you. He's not elbowing. You know what I'm saying? The guy is just trying to straight wrestle. Okay, well, fine. Miles Johns can wrestle if you're just going to wrestle him. You know what I'm saying? He's going to stuff your takedowns. But what happens when a guy comes forward and keeps throwing? And, you know, look at the Batista fight. He folded. Look at the fucking Castaneda fight. He folded. Honestly, I think he's going to fold again, man. This guy, unless he gets him out of there within the first 7.5 minutes, he bonks him. I think Miles Johns is going to get finished here in round 2 or 3. I like Gibson quite a bit late here, man. It's 1,200 and 1,900 late, round 2, round 3. But I also think that he can get him by sub. And that's the crazy part of it. That's the whisper bet of the week. It's him by sub, round 2, 3,100, and round 3, 4,500. Because I do think he's going to hurt Johns. And when Johns get hurt, he's probably going to revert to wrestling and probably put himself in a some type of choke. Yeah. I mean, I like round 2, round 3 here on Gibson quite a bit. I think he's the one. When I look at the pace of that fucking Katona fight, I know you said he got hurt in that, but that pace was hellacious in that fight, back and forth. Do you really believe that Johns can keep up that pace? I think he would. If Katona wasn't Katona in that fight and it was Johns, I would think, I'm almost certain he would break in that point. But Katona's tough as nails, right? And you didn't mention that he hurt Katona as well in that fight. Like, I mean, it was an absolute war. So, yeah, man, I think this is a bad matchup. Plus, the other thing I heard his interview is he went into that fight injured against Katona. He had like a groin injury, something else, some other injury. He had a couple of surgeries done. So, yeah, man, we'll see. I mean, he's older too. That's the one thing that, you know, he is a little bit older, but he still pushes this insane pace. In that fight, that was an insane paced fight. And it was in a bigger cage. Remember, this is a smaller cage. There's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide for my man Miles Johns here. So he better get him out of there earlier. I think he's going to break here. So I'll take the late round props on Cody Gibson. Fight number 6. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 16-5 Ricardo Ramos versus the 28-11 Julian Juicy J. Arosa. Man, another one, I'm going right back to 2-3, man. I mean, Arosa's that guy. I mean, Arosa is like, when you look at this guy historically, if you don't kill him, he's going to kill you, dude. It's just over and over. Round 3, round 2, round 2, round 3, round 2. He's got a shit ton of finishes in 2 and 3. And that's just how he fights. He's going to come forward. He's going to chuck big hands. He's going to make you want to grapple him, or you knock him out because he's kind of chinny. Let's be honest. But the problem for Ramos is he's got pillow fist, man. His knockouts are spinning elbow, knee. He's got 4 knockouts. They're literally 2 spinning elbows and 2 fucking knees. He's never knocked anybody out with his hands. He's Mr. Pillow Fist there. So I think Arosa breaks him, and I think this guy is one of those guys that you can break as well. And Arosa's just insane pace. He's just an animal when it comes to, you know, trying to finish guys. And I think 2-3 again, 950, 1,400. I have to go with Arosa here. I've seen, you know, I'm not saying the one thing here with Ramos, I don't think he's like some kind of big gasser or anything, But I do see him slow down substantially later in fights. So, yeah, I'm going to take Juicy J here, round 2, round 3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on it. I'm the exact same props. Rosa round 2, round 3, and I think the way that I would explain the weakness on the other side is it's like it's almost similar to Edmund Shabazian. It's not a cardio issue. It's like a mental issue with like dealing with adversity. Like Ramos, both of those guys, like you, as soon as they don't get their games off, and as soon as they start taking some damage, they just do the French salute and just start waving the white flag and like take me out of this fucking ring right now. So I think both of them have. I think like Arosa's issues obviously are his chin. Like it's not the fact that he's gonna like not try to fight through adversity. He's going to try to fight through adversity, but if you hit him and connect on him, his chin is dusty as hell. So that to me, I feel like you, I do agree with you too, that it's like the spinning shit. I don't think that the spinning shit can't hit. Like I do feel like Arosa's there to be hit. So he could get knocked out with something spinning in this fight, but I don't think it's going to be like the last fight with Padilla where you're just like, oh shit, dude, like this is what the fuck just happened. Like you just jabbed him and he just knocked him out. So I don't think that that's it as much as, and I do think he'll fight for your money. So Rosa is one of those guys that you don't want to bet as a major favorite. You like to take shots at him as a dog. And I think it's going to be a good live betting spot too. If he starts to lose in round 1 and Ramos maybe has some success in round 1, either grappling or striking, I do feel like eventually that he'll not want to fight anymore against Julian.
Yeah. Let's move on. Fight 7. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 16-6 Trey Ogden versus the 20-7 Kurt Hulabaugh. And this one is yours, Tim, with 350 live viewers. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a Trey Ogden by decision type of fight. And I think Kurt struggles with fighters that don't give him a war and don't like step right up to him. I just think that if you fight him and you stay at range and you don't give him the fight that he wants, as well as like guys that can take him down, I think Ogden could get some takedowns and just control and stay safe from subs. I do think that Hulabagh's got some good sub game, even off of his back. He showed that in his last fight. But I do think that Ogden will probably stay safe. But I think there's like, the ends by split at plus 400 isn't bad. I do think that the fight goes, not really tremendous confidence in it, but I think that's like the one that stuck out to me in this fight. So I'll just make it a short one. Don't see Kurt's kind of older at this point. I think he wants a brawl. He's going to probably try to step in for a brawl and be chasing Ogden around the octagon until he gets hit a couple times and then maybe taken down, and probably not that exciting of a fight.
Yeah. I like Kurt here by knockout. It's a line that's off at one market at Bet Rivers. It's plus 650. I went in person and I bet it. Yeah, it's just a line that, it's off the market price. I mean, when you're looking around the market for KO from Hulabaugh, you're looking at what? 500 as the best next closest one, right? You're getting $1.50 extra here on the KO. And the one thing I will say is Hulabaugh has good hands, man. He's got power. He's got a lot of power in his hands. He has a lot of subs, but this guy has a ton of power in his hands. And we've seen, even though Trey Ogden's never been knocked out, we've seen him wobbled. He got wobbled against Mota last time out. I mean, he was hurt. And when you look at his UFC career, he's faced Bahamondes and Zell Huber, but, these guys really don't pack a lot of power, right? They're more technical strikers, right? And I do think Hulabaugh has a ton of fucking power in his hands, and he's throwing hard, man. He's really going for it. So I do think if he lands, he could possibly knock out Ogden. I don't think that's far-fetched, and it's 650. I think it's a price to look at here. If you don't like that, I have some decision as well, honestly, on Hulabaugh. I don't get the plus 460? Why? Why the fuck is he plus 460 by decision?
Yeah, he's
You know what I'm
14-1 by split too. I thought I was going to say that and add it on to mine
But
as
why?
well.
But why? Why? Trey Ogden fights on such slim margins.
Absolutely.
Why? I mean, did he not lose to Levitt by decision? I mean, Levitt doesn't throw much volume, right? He got grappled there a little bit, but still, like it's his decision. The way Ogden wins decisions is he lulls the fighters into his fights, and he's winning some of those decisions, but he's also losing some of those decisions because he's fighting on such close margins.
Yeah.
So, output wise, I do think Holobaugh probably is going to throw more output. He's probably going to be the guy on the front foot. Most likely he's going to be the guy that's landing the bigger shots, right? So yeah, decision. I mean, decision KO. I think both those lines. If you can get the 650, it's off, and if you can get 460 on decision on Holobaugh, that's not right. I mean,
yeah, I had that, and that was I scratched it off for the ends by split. I had Kurt by decision, and I had Kurt split at plus 1400 because I thought the split is stupid as well. Like I think 14-1 on his split decision, like you said. Ogden does not like separate in fights. He separated last fight against.
I'm gonna play that. I didn't even look at 14-1, but I'm playing that right now.
Yeah, it seems a little offline.
There's no way that's a correct line because just the way this guy fights, he fights on close margins. Like I don't, it could be where he knocks him down in one round, and that's a round for for Holobaugh, and then the other two rounds are semi-close, and he wins a split. Is that not like some like very possible outcome? I think so. So yeah, I don't mind that. Split decision 1400. I didn't even see it, honestly. I didn't even look at it for one bit, but I'm gonna play it right now. I don't see 1400. I see 12. Where did you see 14? DraftKings? Tim? You're mute.
It was on DK. It's now 12. It was. Yeah, it's been bet down.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm going to bet the 12. Even the 12, I think is fine. All right, let's move on. Fight number 8. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 8-1 Luis Pujulio versus the 15-5 Fernando Padilla. And I will kick this one off. I went kind of back and forth on this one, and I had to rewatch a couple more fights. But I can't overlook how this Pujulio guy is just getting starched in every fight. I mean, he's getting fucking hit in every fight clean. He is visibly wobbling in some of these fights. He's getting hurt, but he's tough as nails, right? He's tough as shit. And he's coming back and finishing these guys. And Padilla also, like, he's there to be hit as well. But I think he's a little bit cleaner, man. He throws a little bit straighter. He's the longer guy. He uses kicks. It's plus 290 on the KO. It's right there on the cusp. I think Padilla is going to knock him out, honestly. Maybe not in round 1, but possibly in round 2. If the fight extends to round 3, I think it starts getting hairy a little bit for Padilla, honestly. But I think he's got to get the KO early, and I think he probably does. What do you have here, Tim?
I agree. I think it probably is like him standing and banging with him and being a little bit cleaner than Puello, but I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance on the Padilla by sub. I do think that he can get a little bit interesting. I think the fight could be really interesting if it goes down to the ground. I just don't know. I don't think there's much on Puello and what he looks like on the ground. And I do think that Padilla definitely has the fishpole arms, and he's got the long reach to be able to get, if he's on his back, he can get subs off of his back. He's done that a bunch of times as well. So he mentioned in his interview that he wants to try to mix up this fight and mix up his grappling with the striking. So I'll take a small stab at the plus 650 by him by sub. I think I do agree with you. I think if it happens, it probably happens in round 1 or 2. 12 to 1 and 20 to 1 aren't bad.
All right. Let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 18-5 Billy Quarantillo versus the 13-5-1 Yusuf Zalal. And this one's yours, Tim.
Twitter battle number 1. Let's get to get this one for everybody. This line has gone up and down and back and around. So I feel like I have 0 bets in this fight, so I'll start off by saying that. I do think that this is going to be a spot where I will look to live bet and see what I think is happening in the fight and see what lines they're giving and then attack then. The Yusuf Zalal, I mean, the knocks on him are that he doesn't really go for very much in fights. He cage pushes a lot. He's a good, he's a good solid all-around fighter that he's defensively responsible on the feet, low volume. He's going to have an age. He's going to be much younger in this fight. He's on short notice. I don't know how much that's going to matter, but typically he's got a really good gas tank. Billy usually weaponizes his cardio against guys that don't have gas tanks and then attacks and finishes them. I really feel like Billy in this fight won't have the cardio edge that he typically does have. And I also feel like the fight against Damon Jackson, the last fight, really wasn't a good look from him from a striking perspective. He always takes one to give one or takes one to give two, and he's extremely hittable. Billy is that. And I feel like, he's going to need to really pump a ton of volume out on Zalal and be able to get off on him and to be able to separate. And I just don't think that Zalal is that easy to hit. Zalal has been outstruck in one fight, I think, in the UFC. He got outstruck one time. Everybody else, including Ilya, he outstruck. And I'm not saying that he didn't win, that he won the Ilya fight. I'm just saying that it was primarily grappling, but he's outstruck everybody except for one fighter. So he gets those low, he gets those really low volume fights, and he's hard to hit, and he cage pushes a ton. So, if Billy just comes into the pocket and starts trying to wail away at him, I just don't think it's going to be easy for him to chase him around the ring and get off his game as much. So that being said, I feel like it's going to be a question of Zalal getting some better strikes, getting some cage push, both guys trying to grapple a little bit here and there. And I just see an extremely back and forth kind of closer fight where Billy isn't able to get off the 150 to 200 strikes on guys like he is normally. And so for me, don't bet end split, because you get 7-1 on Zalal by split and you get 6-1 on Billy. So you're getting a little bit better line by betting both of them individually for this one. Sometimes they mix that up and they'll give you a better line on the end split. But this time it's better to actually go just both fighters and bet them both. So I'll take both of them. It's basically an ends by split, but just betting both fighters individually to win by split.
Yeah. This one was hard for me to find a prop on. That's a Lambo. Obviously, I'm going to give one that's not a Lambo, just because I just think the outcome is this fight's going the distance. I don't want to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, this guy's going to knock this guy out. And when I really don't believe that, because I do think this fight's going to hit the scorecards. That's what I think. And so if it hits the scorecards, who wins, right? And I kind of lean Zalal, honestly. I think Zalal wins the decision here. I think his defense is much better. He's got better footwork. I wouldn't be shocked if he lands takedowns, to be honest, Tim. I know not a lot of people have said that, but he's had success versus pretty fucking good. I mean, Damon Blackshear is a good ass wrestler. We've seen him wrestle. He's got very good wrestling. And, it was 1-1 in the takedown department there. He took Woodson down a couple of times. We've seen, and let's be honest, we've seen Woodson. He's shown pretty good fucking takedown. He's not easy guy to take down. He out-grappled Choi 3-2, So The only guy to really out-grapple him in his career is, well, Topuria and Griffin did too. But, yeah, I mean, the way, and I love Billy Q, man. I'm a big Billy Q guy. But he doesn't look the same to me, man. This is not the same Billy Q to me. Maybe it's that knee he ate. It completely changed him. But my God, Damon Jackson just, I mean, could not miss in round one, man. For like 2-3 minutes, he could not miss. He was throwing and landing everything. But then he went back to his grappling because that's what he knows. But like, it's like, dude, you're killing him on the feet. Why did you go and try to grapple in this fight? And then you know what happened to him, right? He gassed himself out. And he almost got finished, actually. The problem is when you look at Billy Q over and over and over again, right? I mean, this is just, it's out there, right? Kyle Nelson fight. He wins via just breaking the guy. Spike Carlisle, same thing, gassing and breaking the guy. Gabriel Benitez, gassing and breaking the guy. Alex Hernandez, gassing and breaking the guy. Damon Jackson, gassing and breaking the guy. It's every single fight. He's fighting these guys that somehow gas. And I know he puts up a big pace, but all these guys gas. That's what happens. This guy does not gas. Zalal does not fucking gas. He's got a very, very good gas tank. So it's like, so then how does Billy win? Like, he only wins by gassing people and finishing them or winning a decision because they're so dead, right? How does he win? Yeah, he could maybe out-volume Zalal, but it's like Billy's optics, when you watch his fights, he's getting his head snapped back all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like he doesn't look very good. He's marching forward, but he's getting pieced up while he's marching forward. So it's like a bad, and this is, to me, the matchup in this fight is not good for him because this is not a guy that he can break. And that's the problem. So Zalal is like, I don't know, plus 190 area. I bet him, to be honest. I bet the decision prop. I think it's good. I think he's going to win this fight. Honestly, he's the younger guy. I said it years ago when they cut Zalal. I said, this is not fucking fair, man. Like, a couple of his fights were short notice, right? He fought really close, lost really close decisions. He wasn't deserving of being cut. The guy won 1, 2, 3. He went 3-0 in UFC, right? Got fed Ilya Topuria.
Survived
Yeah.
against Ilya Topuria.
Survived, did okay in round 3, man. He won the round in round 3.
Yep.
Topuria was running for his life in round 3, And Sungwoo Choi, close fight. Sean Woodson, split decision. Damon Blackshear, majority draw, and then he gets cut. It's like, bro, it's unfair.
Choi was the only guy to outstrike him in all of his fights. In all of his UFC fights, Choi was the only one to outstrike him.
I get his style is not exciting. I guess maybe that's what it is. But come on, the guy wasn't deserving of being cut. He's a UFC level fighter, in my opinion. And he got cut. And I'm like, and I was always saying he's going to be back. He's going to be back. And there he is. He's back now. So, yeah, I'll take Yusuf Zalal. This is a used Corolla. It's plus 190. If you want to take the split, fine, plus 700. By the way, I ran it on the Dutch, Tim. Playing the 300 is better than splitting it 600, 700, just FYI. So you're better off just playing the 300. On the Dutch, it's going to return 273 compared to 300. So, yeah, it's no good. All right, let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 7-0 Peyton Talbot versus the 9-1 Cameron Simon. I will take this one. If it ain't broke, Tim, don't fix it. You know what that means? Do you know what that means? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Talbot round 2, round 3 is a printing machine. I don't care he's fighting a more durable fighter now. Okay? I don't care. I really don't, because who has Simon really faced that is similar to Peyton Talbot's pressure and hands and body work and stuff like that? Nobody. Yeah, Christian Rodriguez is good striker, good grappler, anti-grappler, you name it. But also Christian Rodriguez is not a big finisher. He doesn't finish guys in round 2 and round 3 a lot, right? This guy does. He breaks everybody because you know what it is? People don't understand. Like, he doesn't seem like he has a lot of power in his hands, but he's placing the right punches, man. And he's digging the body. He's just constant forward pressure like a zombie. Nothing bothers him, So these are the kind of things I want to see in a fighter that I'm playing round 2, round 3. He has all of them. He has the durability. He has the cardio. He has the body work. And the lines are crazy, man. It's 1,400 by KO2 and 1,900 KO3, right? I'm going to play him. I don't care that Cameron Simon is durable, but Cameron Simon gets his nose busted in every fight. Cameron Simon was fighting close against Mana Martinez in a bigger cage. This is a smaller cage. There's not much room to run around here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, maybe Cameron Simon hits the scorecards. Maybe he does well. I'm taking fucking Peyton Talbot round 2, round 3. This guy's a machine there. Even in the fight that went to decision against Reyes Cortez, he absolutely killed him in round 3. The guy had to hang on by a thread to fucking survive. His nose was busted. He was barely hanging on. So, yeah, 2-3 KO for me here. What do you have?
Yeah, you've sold me on it. I believe it. I believe it's possible, but I'm going to take a different one. We'll cover kind of 2 different bases on this one. I feel like I do think that I'll probably have a small bet on the 2-3 KO with you as well. Just from the damage that Simon has taken, and doesn't mean that he can necessarily be able to take this. So I agree with your takes there. The thing that kind of like makes me think that this fight could end split, which is what my Lambo will be in this one, and it's like plus 350 or 800 on both sides, is Talbot loses round 1 to like almost everybody. Like, he even lost it. He lost Reyes Cortez. Like, he lost it to Aguirre last fight. Like, there's a chance that Simon could come out and try to grapple or get one round in this fight by grappling either 2, or like just what we've seen from the grappling side of Talbot is not really that good so far. Definitely needs to improve if he wants to be an elite fighter. And I just feel like, it's not a guy that starts off fight. It's like Chito Vera. I'm not trying to compare him. There's no comparison. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, like, the fact that he loses round 1 to guys that he's significantly better than, and then has to come back and put it on them later, and then he picks up his pace and then he gets to the finishes. But I do feel like he knows that he's losing and he needs to make a decent showing in the end of these fights. So yeah, I'll take it. I probably will be, I have this as my Lambo, but I'll probably be betting yours instead of mine because they're bigger numbers. But yeah, I'll play the ends by split here at plus 350. Like I said, if you wanted to take shots on either guy, it's 8-1. So don't hate it.
I mean, listen, I don't think Simon's a bad fighter, but Simon beat the shit out of Mana. What? No, he didn't. He lost round 1 in that fight. I hope you know.
Yeah, and Mana gas is bad.
He beat the shit out of him in round 3 when Mana was like dead tired, gassed. Yeah. He beat the shit out of him in round 3, but no, he didn't beat the shit out of him in that fight, man. Go back and watch it. He lost round 1 in that fight. Yeah, Talbot. I mean, look, you're making good points. Talbot is super hittable. He's gonna fight close with guys that go on gas. The issue is, so is Simon. He's fucking very hittable. Every fucking fight, his nose is broken. And he's busted up every single fight. Every fight. He
doesn't take damage really well either. He looks like shit when he gets hit. Like
okay, Nate, here's the other thing, guys. Which one of these guys that has fought has more power than fucking Talbot? Which one of them? I don't know of any of them that he's fought. He's getting fucking busted up in the regionals in South Africa, man. His nose was busted big time against one of the guys that was like a losing record. Listen, Simon could be the guy that's improving. He's getting better. He's younger. He's not a bad fighter. Don't get me wrong. I think he's good. But I also think he's throwing naked leg kicks. He's fucking diving in the pocket, throwing punches, bouncing in and out. That's bad. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught doing that. And his chin has held up so far. I don't know if it's going to hold up in this fight. Honestly, I could see Talbot finishing this guy later. And we've never really seen somebody dig to the body and stuff like that. So we'll see how he takes those shots too. Those are a little bit of an X factor.
How much do you think Simon's going to grapple in this fight? I'm interested to hear that.
What?
How much do you think Simon is going to grapple this fight?
He might have. I mean, listen, that's a flaw of a big.
I think it'll be interesting to see because I
don't think he's a very good wrestler, to be honest.
I don't think he. No, I agree that he's not great. I don't know that you need to be really great against Talbot, but I do feel it's more like
But why do you say that? Why do you say you don't have to be really good against Talbot?
I mean, I don't think Aguirre is a great wrestler.
Aguirre is a way better grappler than Simon. He's a black belt. He's got better wrestling, and he's a big motherfucker too. He's a big dude. Aguirre. He fought at 55. He's a big dude.
I know his jiu-jitsu.
He's got better jiu-jitsu. He's got better jiu-jitsu. Yeah, he can get your back, potty triangle, you know.
That's what he did.
The problem with Simon is how many times has he made mistakes on the ground? Didn't he get reversed by the Alaska FC guy? What was that fucking guy's name? Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell. He got reversed in that fight. He got taken down in that fight by that Mitchell dude. So, like, yeah, I could see him grappling, but I don't think he's a very good wrestler, and I don't think he's gonna have, you know, Reyes Cortez. I can't remember how many takedowns he shot on him. He probably got.
Wheezy was just saying that he's the pride of Oswego and a solid high school and college wrestler.
There you go. Aguirre can wrestle, I'm telling you. But he gassed, obviously. I had Aguirre there. It's not like I love Talbot. I had Aguirre in that fight because I figured he's going to get him down and probably get his back early, you know?
Plus 100 after round one on Talbot was a
yeah, and I bet it.
That was a next period.
Here's the thing, like Simon is good, and I think he can, you know, hang with him on the feet too. I'm not saying he's bad. I can't look past these round 2, round 3 numbers, man. I really can't because the guy has been a printing machine. I'm not going to change what I've seen on tape just because I think, you know, all of a sudden, you know, Simon's very durable. But who's he durable against? None of these really guys are big finishers. I mean, Mana is a finisher, but, you know, Mana gassed his ass off in round 3. It's not like it's not a comparison, right? But we saw, what's his name? He had him in some pretty bad spots too. Christian Rodriguez. He had Simon in some, but Christian is a very, very good fighter. I'm not even comparing those two. So let's move on. Fight number 11. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 12-4 Edmund Shabazian versus the 7-2 AJ Dobson. And this one's yours, Tim.
And I mean, Edmund, as I talked about earlier in this card or in the show, Edmund's a guy that's, you know, tough to be, you know, relying on a big bet or laying juice, like heavy juice on, because as soon as it doesn't go his way, he tends to pull the latch and parachute out and say, I'm getting the fuck off of this plane. I do think that he's got AJ Dobson covered everywhere. I mean, I think he's a better fighter in every respect, minus the ability to fight through adversity, which is kind of a big thing. It is a huge thing when you're talking about fighting. But I do think that, you know, like AJ's fought some guys that are tough fighters, but I don't think that he's fought somebody that strikes as well and as clean and hits quite as hard as Shabazian does in this fight. And kind of think Shabazian KO 1 plus 270, used Lambo KO 2 plus 650. I'll go with those. I think that he gets him out. He gets him out early.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of surprised Shabazian was bigger, man. Did you see him at face-offs, man? Shabazian looked huge. I thought, like, because Dobson looked like a pretty big guy. Fucking Shabazian looked like a monster. The guy is still only 26, which is mind-boggling to me. It feels like he's been in the UFC for 10 years, man. He's only 26 years old. But he's the same shit. He hasn't changed, dude. His cardio is still very iffy. You know, it was a nightmare matchup last time, honestly. They couldn't have picked a worse matchup for him than Anthony Hernandez. If you told me what's the worst matchup right now at 185 For Edmund Shabazian, I would have said Anthony Hernandez. And sure enough, they give him Anthony Hernandez. And what happens? He finishes him in round 3. But, Shabazian was doing well early, man. He stuffed a lot of the takedowns. He was doing well on the feet. He's a good striker. And he just falls apart, man. Imavov fight, he fell apart. Brunson fight, he fell apart. Hermanson fight, he fell apart. It's like every fight that extends, he falls apart. And it's like, I don't think it's not even a cardio issue anymore, man. It's got to be mental. Because I do think you can fix, you're so young, you can fix the cardio things. You run a lot, you do whatever. But I think he's mentally weak. The minute he becomes the nail, it's over. It's done. He needs to be the hammer. If he's not the hammer, he's done. Put a fork in him. So the problem here is they're giving him a guy that throws low volume, that's not really particularly very dangerous anywhere. That's doing a lot of shit with his hands, but not really throwing a lot of punches. He's very low volume, this Dobson guy. He's strong. He seems like he's strong, but they're giving him a guy, honestly, that's a big step down. I mean, look at the guys he's faced, man. Hernandez, Imavov, Hermanson, Brunson, Brunson 4 years ago. Tavares even.
Murderer's Row.
Yeah, Murderer's Row, and now you're giving him AJ Dobson. Okay, AJ Dobson barely squeaked out a win against Ncheku. He won round 3, but rounds 1 and 2 were super close in that fight. Like, he could have easily lost that fight.
That's aged like milk.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And that's the thing, dude. It's like, I mean, you can't trust Shabazian. If I knew Shabazian had 3 rounds of cardio, this line would be fucking minus 800, honest to God, because the skills are not close. So I do think Dobson's style of fighting is good for Shabazian to win a decision here, honestly. I think that he doesn't really need to go crazy. He's not going to have a guy that comes after him, throwing big bombs or anything to like gas him out and stuff. I think if he just like picks his shots, jabs, keeps it on the outside striking match, he's a much better striker. It's not close. So decision is 310. Dobson looks durable. That's the other thing. He looks pretty tough. Doesn't look like you can get him out of there early. Plus 310. I'm going with it, man. He's been at Extreme, Rusty. Yeah, he's at Extreme, but he's been there. He's been at Extreme Couture for a while now. Nothing's changed with this cardio, dude. This guy is like, I don't get it. I really don't. He has all the skills in the world, but he might be a mental midget, honestly, at the end of the day. Maybe he just breaks when things don't go his way.
Yeah,
right?
Marcel was talking about that you can't lose to the shell of Brunson. It wasn't the shell of Brunson. That was Brunson when he was fucking
That
there.
was 4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago. He
Yeah.
looked like 30. I don't think that was a shell of Brunson, was it?
No, that was Brunson when he could finish in round 3. Like that's
yeah. He was on he beat Holland after that till he finished Till in round 3. Yeah, that wasn't the shell of Brunson yet, man. Yeah. So we'll see. Let's move on to the co-main event of the night, and I don't have no idea why. For the life of God, out of all these fights, this is the co-main event. I don't know. But here we are. It's the heavyweight division. It's the 9-1 Carl Williams versus the 7-3 Justin Tafa. And I will kick this one off. It's a shit fight. I don't know why they made this fight to be the co-main event. Like, I need to call the UFC and tell them, hey, can I at least, if anything I can do for you guys, and I'll do it almost for nothing, can I set up the order of fights where you're not putting this cans, in a boring ass probably fight as the co-main event when you have bangers out, Talbot Saman, right? You have that, even Corintillo Zalal, even Julio Padilla deserve a co-main event because they're going to be exciting fights. Why are you giving us this fight here? And here we are. And this guy, I posted in my Discord, okay? I was reading an article, and they asked Tafa what happened. Why did you pull out last fight? He says, well, I came in with a knee injury, and during warm-ups or whatever, my knee popped and I had to go to the ground. Something happened, right? That was a month ago, Tim. It was a month ago. A month later, he's fighting now. So your knee was injured. You went to and your knee popped. And now a month later, you're going to fight a guy that's going to grapple. You need your knee. He's going to wrestle all day. That's what Carl Williams is going to do. In his interview, he knows what he has to do. He knows on the feet, this guy hits very hard. He's got to get this fight to the ground. Tafa, we don't have a lot of info from him on the ground other than the regionals. Didn't look very hard to take this guy down. Wasn't very good. Looked like pretty much a fish off his back on the ground. He's probably going to be tough to get out of there early, Tim, in round 1. But 2-3 KO. I don't think it's going to be sub, man. I really don't. I don't think this freaking guy knows what a sub looks like, Carl Williams, honestly. I don't think so. I think this guy's, it's going to be, the other thing with Tafa is his legs are so damn big, Tim. It's going to be hard to get like hooks in. It's going to be hard to do that kind of stuff. So it's got to be like ground and pound. I think it's possible it's going to be GNP here. Carl Williams, after a tired, exhausted Tafa that's probably his knee is messed up. He might find the door here. Round 2 is 1,300. Round 3 is 1,800. The problem is there's an issue to it, is the fact that Williams looks like he gasses as well in round 3. So, but I'm going to have to go with it, man. 2-3 KO. It's 1,300, 1,800. Carl Williams. What do you have?
Yeah, I just took round 2, round 3. I mean, I agree with you. That's probably going to be hard to sub him. Just to play it a little bit safer, just in case he does something stupid. But I do think it's probably a KO. I wouldn't even be shocked if it's like similar to his brother's fight, where if you're smart and you're Carl Williams, if you are striking, if like you're throwing anything at all, it should be a fucking kick to his knees. like he should be just locate. I mean, like what could go wrong there? Obviously, you stay away from his big left hand. And that's it. Like, worry about his left hand when you get a chance to clinch. Like, stay at range and kick his legs until you can get into range to take him down. But I would just be kicking his legs and staying away from the left, and then clinch him when you can. Try to get him down, and then go to town. Somebody as big and as fat as Tafa is not getting up. And then if he does get up, it's going to be like a fucking turtle trying to get off of his back. So it's not going to be easy. Yeah, I feel Carl round 2. Probably round 2, to be honest, but take a shot in round 3 just in case. But my prediction would be it's round 2.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm playing Tafa, guys, personally, if anybody likes Tafa,
KO1.
KO1 or even KO2, maybe early, is probably a no-brainer. That's how I'm going to play him. You can't play him any other way, bro. Like, this guy. Here's the other thing. If anybody in chat knows, and I don't know, I couldn't find it. Did he actually fly back out to Australia after his brother's fight?
Don't know.
Because that would be kind of crazy. Like, think about it. You came here like a week early. You needed to get accustomed to the time. You didn't fight. Now you fly all the way back to Australia. You have to, again, get accustomed to the time. And then 2 weeks later, you got to fly all the way back to America and get adjusted to the time.
Here's the thing. I got to address Dick's Insider on this one. The Tuivasa recency bias, making everyone blind to the fact that Carl stinks. Dude, Tafa stinks. Like, Tafa is fucking terrible, man. Like, he gave Jared Vanderaa his only fucking win in the UFC. Who else did he lose to? Lost to Carlos Felipe. Got knocked out by Jorgen De Castro. No longer in there. Like, his best win is fucking Parker Porter or Juan Adams. Like, he's not a good fighter. like these guys, and his brother's his brother's not good either. Like, his brother's like, just when you watch what he did again in his last fight as well, it's just like, dude, they're not really good fighters. They're just power strikers that have zero grappling game. They need to bonk, and they need to bonk early, otherwise they're probably losing.
Yeah, they really don't have any like layers to their game. Like, he's a decent striker. He's a good counter striker. He has power, but that's it. Like, if he doesn't land power on you, then he's screwed. He's literally screwed. There's no shot this guy is gonna throw like a lot of volume or win, win a decision. I just don't see it.
Carl's not a good striker, but his wrestling is good. I think his wrestling is pretty solid. Like in
Very
his
good.
like in
Actually, very
his
good.
yeah, in his the Contender Series fight, I lost based on a bet on basing it on like this. His opponent was going to be a better wrestler than him, and he's a kind of a wrestler. And like he fucking showed him up. So yeah, I feel
Penn
like
State wrestler. He's a Penn State wrestler. The guy who wrestled.
yeah. So I feel like that. I think his wrestling is really good, and I feel like he should be able to get this fight where he wants. So
I think last time out against Sherman, he only landed one takedown. He was struggling, but Sherman did a good job of chopping his leg. If Hunt is smart, and he's probably got really, really nasty kicks, probably Tafa, sorry. If he's smart, he should be kicking here because he's got nasty calf. Like if he lands those with those tree trunk legs, dude, it's not gonna take many to fucking destroy his leg, literally. And honestly, watching Sherman over and over land the calf kick, I don't think Williams knew what to do. Like, it's like, what do I got to do here?
But that's like we were saying. Like if his knee is actually compromised, then like throwing kicks is not going to be easy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't. I'm just going off what he said. All right,
mushroom. My Edmund pick was KO2 or KO1, KO2. He asked what my Edmund pick was.
All right, 459 live viewers. Thank you very much. Appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are the best. Hit the like, please. Subscribe to the channel. Once you're subscribed, hit that notification button, that bell down below, so that you know when we go live here on my channel. We will move on. Main event of the night, and it is in the flyweight division. It is the 12-4 Amanda Ribas versus the 11-6 Rose Namajunas. Tim, this one is yours.
Get the lotion ready in this fight, boys. This is definitely the one. So, I mean, Rose, I think is a dangerous fighter in a bunch of different ways. When you're getting good Rose, I think she has a tendency to go a little bit Jekyll and Hyde as a fighter, and when the motivation is there for Rose, I think she's elite in a lot of different places. She's very good striker, good mover. Cardio is not bad at all. She's fought some 5-round fights. Good, really opportunistic grappler. Her ability to win the fight against Wei Li by getting her taken down in the end of the rounds at the later parts of the fight, not only were really, really smart, but the fact that she could even do that is majorly impressive. So I just think that when she's at her best, I think that she's better than Ribas almost everywhere. Minus maybe volume. I think Ribas throws more volume, and that's about it. I think that's her edge in this fight. I don't think that I shouldn't say I don't think. I don't know which Rose we're going to get, though. That's the thing. So, you could get the Rose that throws like less than 20 strikes, like in Carla Esparza 2 fight. You could just get you just don't know what you're going to get with her. Up a weight class as well. So I think Ribas has had a couple more, maybe 1 or 2 more fights at this weight class than Rose. Rose, to her credit, I think she broke her hand against Manon Fiorot last fight and kept fighting through it. Had a couple moments, but just was, kind of out-volumed by Manon. Wasn't able to really get her down, but I don't think a lot of people have been able to get Manon down. So to me, I feel like this fight is, the Ribas fight, the Ribas chin is a big narrative. It's clearly an issue. She's there to be hit, and she's got knocked out in the first round by Viana. She made people think that Marina Rodriguez had strong hands and could knock people out. And then she got knocked out in round 2 versus Barber. So I do feel like that is an issue for her. I do feel like I think that Rose could catch her with something early, but if she doesn't catch her early, or even kick her and catch her with something like a kick like she did with Wei Li and Joanna, I do feel like the fight could go to decision, and a fight could kind of maybe be a little bit closer if the volume is just like volume over and over and over, even if she's missing, but just spamming and trying to get a clinch and trying to get, Rose down, even if she can't hold her down. I think the cardio from Ribas is good. So long-winded, but I'm going to take a shot just on if the fight goes that it might be closer. I do think that the edges for sure are on Rose. I do think that she is better. But the ends by split to me is a kind of a stupid line. It's like one of the widest lines on the whole card. It's plus 600. To say this is like a dollar off of the plus 700 for the other stupid line that we had on end split on the Win versus Aaron's, I think both of those are just like the dumbest things ever. You're getting like plus 350s on fucking heavyweights like Usman and Parkin, but then you're giving plus 600 on a women's MMA fight that if it does go, it could probably be pretty close margins. So I'm going to take a shot at that. Rebus by split is plus 1200 as well, but I'll just take the end split plus 600.
Yeah, good breakdown. I don't mind the split. I don't like this fight from a betting perspective. If I knew Rose was all there, this is an easy bet for me, honestly. I think over 5 rounds, Rose has shown over and over again, and I went throughout all her career, she's almost always winning round 3 or round 4 and 5. She's always winning those rounds. So that tells me her cardio is good. That tells me that she's just a girl that wins the later rounds, right? Ribas, I love the girl for getting that KO3 for me at plus 4,400 last time.
We got that. That was a team shot right there. We both hit it. It was fucking beautiful.
And this is the first time she's ever fought a 5-round fight, I believe, right? This is the first time she's going to be fighting 5 rounds. She's been knocked out in 3 of her losses. I don't really think Rose hits like tremendously hard or anything. Like it may be a head kick or something. I feel like maybe she can like buzz Ribas or hurt her, and then Ribas goes to the grappling like later in the fight. So if I don't really like anything, Tim, I don't really like anything here, right? And there's really nothing that catches my eye. Why not swing for the fences? Like swing for the fences, right? See if you can hit a grand slam.
Yeah, I want to guess. I want to guess what you're gonna do.
The only grand slam here is Rose Namajunas submission round 3, 6,600.
Yep.
Rose Namajunas submission round 4, 7,000. Rose Namajunas submission round 5, 9,500.
Oof.
100 to 1 almost, guys.
Where are those at?
2 of them are on Bet Rivers. One of them I played at Bet Rivers, and one of them's on FanDuel.
Nice.
Like, to me, like, probably not going to happen because Ribas is very good on the ground. But listen, when you have a stunned person or someone that's a little bit tired here in round 4 or round 5, and Rose has been in these rounds. These are championship rounds that Ribas has never been to. Screw it. Go for the fucking home run. And I'm going for the home run here, man. 66, 70, and 95 to 1 on Rose Namajunas by submission in 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I think those are great shots.
I mean, it's a shot. I don't think it's happening. I'll be honest with you. I don't think that's happening at all, but why not? Why not? I mean, Rose does go for submissions. I mean,
Rose, not only does she go for submissions, she's extremely opportunistic when she does get opportunity. Like she just takes shots when she has them, and she's she's gotten notoriety from her KOs on Weili and her KO on Joanna, but like those again are both they're both head kicks. Like it's just like you get.
I think she needs to like probably hurt Ribas to get the sub.
That's what I think. It's way more likely. I totally agree. I think that it's way more likely that she bonks her and then she either has her dropped and then she like lashes on her back and then gets the choke, or she's concussed when she's locking in the choke. I totally agree.
All right, that's it. All 13 fights. We will go over to our Lambo Parlay segment. Tim, do you want to start it out this week?
You started off, bud.
All right. For me, I'm going to the mix and match again. There's 2 fights that I really like, 2 and 3. It's Julian Erosa 2-3. It's Gibson 2-3, and they are astronomical odds. There you can if you hit Erosa 3 and Gibson 3, I think it's like 380 to 1. The other ones are no less than like almost 200 to 1. So you're mixing matching Erosa 2-3 with Gibson 2-3. I'm also going to mix in some Padilla KO and really make it go nuts. I think it's going to go to like a 1,000 to 1. But yeah, I mean, I think those two, I think they're super live in my opinion, man. I really do. I think if both guys can get through round 1, I think they will really put it on their opponents in 2-3. So, yeah, I mean, it's anywhere from, I don't know, 150 to 1 to 350 to 1. So, it's some big odds, and hopefully it comes through for us this week. Tim, what do you have?
That was funny, man. I thought we might have the same ones, but I'm glad we don't. I have a mix and match as well. I got Carl Williams 2 and 3 with Erosa as well. So hopefully as Erosa gets us that round 2-3 finish for us, and then we can both be splitting.
Damn it, Tim! You're not supposed to have the same one like me.
No,
now,
I have.
Now, if Erosa doesn't come through, they're all done.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Right.
Yeah, it's a 94 to 1, 113 to 1, 109 to 1, and 131 to 1.
All right, guys. 477 beasts in the house. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate you guys. This show is like, man, rocking and rolling each and every week. We have 280 on X, 196 on YouTube. Smash that like. You could do it on X. You could do it on YouTube. You could do it everywhere. Leave your comments after this thing is over. You know, throw some comments in there, questions, whatever. Talk shit, because every week I have somebody talking. Last week we had somebody say, man, this guy doesn't know how to pronounce. Meanwhile, his co-host sounds like shit. His mic is not good. And it's like every week they're bashing us about something. They can't just say, hey, guys, thanks a lot. Thank you for the content and move on. Like, you know what's crazy is you're watching our show. You're always like, and it's not even like constructive criticism. It'd be fine if it's constructive criticism. Give it to me all day. Like, so I know what I'm doing wrong, right? I can fix it. But it's like bash. And obviously it's probably the everyday trolls that go around Twitter and YouTube and just troll every single show and stuff. But shout out to you guys. Thank you for giving me the viewers. I appreciate it. Tim, are you going live tomorrow with Sean or you?
No, he's got some things that he's got to do tomorrow. So we're going to take tomorrow off.
All right. Tomorrow's off. It's a later card. It's 7 p.m. Eastern start. So it's a later card. I don't understand why it's so late, but it is what it is. Good luck to everybody in chat. Let's crush them this week. Had a very, very good day in Bellator today, +6 units. We destroyed the Bellator. And again, guys, link is down below for my Discord, $25 a month. Actually, it's less. You can use Madness 25 because of the March Madness tournament. You get 25% off your initial month. So, yeah, guys, appreciate you guys. Thank you again very, very much. Discord link down below. Tim, where can they find you? Anything else to add? Parting words before we get off here?
Yeah, man. Thanks as always for having me. It's one of my favorite things to do, obviously, with you. Been doing it for a long time now. I just want to give you a little bit of shine on this. I feel like you guys are really, really missing out if you're not subscribed to his Discord. It legit pays for it. So if you would have signed up a month or two ago, even at the beginning of the year, like you'd already paid off for your year and next year. And it's like, it's so easy. If you're not cashing from the props that we give you or that he gives you, you're going to cash from live bets almost every week. So it's just like you can pay this off and pay for your investment in legit like the first couple weeks that you do it. So definitely worth it. $25 a month is not really not that much for what you're going to get in value.
Thank you very much for the shout out, Tim. And I get the questions all the time, like, why only 25? If you're such a big winner, why are you only charging 25? Because I really don't want to charge more. For a long time, I didn't even want to charge. But then things got out of hand with I was putting so much time into Twitter Spaces, this and that. And I was kind of messing myself up in the live betting scenes where I couldn't really do it because I'm announcing. So that's why I did this. And it's $25. I mean, we went 5-0 last week in live bets, like literally I won almost 5 figures last week, or more, over 5 figures. I don't even remember, but yeah, I mean, if you guys want to join, it's there. You don't want to join, no problem. I appreciate you guys no matter what. So with that being said, Tim, one last thing to say. Let's cash those tickets.